Hey everybody, it's me, and we're gonna go ahead and we'll get this project started now. I'm gonna real quick read a quote that I found on Pinterest this morning, written by Thomas Edison of all people. I was trying to find, quotes of strength and that kind of thing. So this is the one that I found, and actually I scrolled right past it the first time I read it, and then I started going back, and I kept going back to this one, and I thought, you know what? This really resonates with me because there are certain things in life that I feel like I've done 10,000 times and done it wrong 10,000 times. And one of these days I'm going to get it right, right? We just all feel that way. There's always those certain things in life that we just can't seem to get quite right. And it says, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. So I will keep looking and trying, and I will find that way that works, right, you guys? I mean, we all have certain things in life. It just feels like it's never going to be right. But we keep on trying, and we keep on working at it, and sooner or later, it will be just fine. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using our heart mold. Again, this is a silicone mold, and this is what's considered a clear silicone mold because you can see through it. The great thing about these, if you're using UV resin, you want to use these clear molds. If you use colored molds, you're going to find that your resin is not going to cure on the underside. And you don't want that. It doesn't matter. I mean, you could put it under that light for an hour and you're probably not going to cure everything on the bottom side. And trust me, I've got plenty of those darker molds, but I use them only with 2-part epoxy resin that cures just over time, not with UV light. So don't use the colored molds when you're doing UV resin, you guys. It's just, you're never going to get a fully cured resin. Now you could pull it out and it could look pretty cured, and you could pop it upside down or right side up, as the case may be, and then put the other side under the lamp. If it looks good, then you're going to be able to get it pretty much cured on the other side. But when you have a lot of intricate detail in that mold, there's places that are still going to be down in those crevices that are probably not going to really cure. So now over time, after that thing sits for a long time, and I mean a long time, not talking about hours, I'm talking about days, possibly weeks, it will continue to cure, and putting it out in the sunlight might be a great alternative to get it to cure a little faster on the innards. But you're just going to have to work at it a lot longer and a lot harder, and hopefully it'll come out. But I'm going to say you're better off not to buy the colored molds when you're using UV resin. They are amazing when you're using 2-part epoxy resin though. So, and I am going to do a 2-part epoxy resin video for you guys. I truly, truly am. I just haven't found the exact right thing that I want to do yet. I have several molds. I do have the pigments and things that I can use, so I will be doing that soon. Sherry bought me this beautiful, beautiful resin, and I have not used it yet. I've used it once, and I didn't like the way that the item came out that I used it on, so I didn't show you guys. But I do plan on doing it with a couple of molds that I know I've used in the past, and it worked awesome, and I got some beautiful, beautiful projects out of it. So we will be doing that. But for now, we're going to use our BS resin and our heart mold. I think I've got enough resin out here. And a few accessories that I decided we're going to try in this one. Now, this is going to be something that I'm trying that I hope works. We'll see. Not really sure because we're going to be putting lace in here. It's not really lace, it's more sequins and beads than lace, but nonetheless, it's you know, got the fabric in there and all that good stuff. I do see on here there's a couple of spots that I need to get you don't want too much of this mesh showing. Really, you don't want any if you don't have to. So I am going in here and I'm getting these last little bits of mesh that are around the outside of this one, because I don't want that to show through the resin. There's a little bit probably on all of these that I could get off of there. Most of these I've already done this to. This one looks good. Just want to get like between the little flower edges and stuff. Oops, that one caught on fire. But it didn't mess it up, so that's okay. Really, all you want to do when you're trying to get that mesh out from behind it is just barely touch it, because it's gonna melt really, really fast. And these torches on these little guys are really great. They're very strong, very powerful for what they are, and they work really, really well. But they are very strong and powerful. So, okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and this side is going to be the top of this ornament. This is going to be the bottom. Normally, this would be the top. You'd put it in and you'd turn everything kind of upside down and put it in there. I'm not going to do that. I want this to be the top, and because I want it to look a certain way, and I want to be able to see exactly what I'm doing every step of the way. I do also have my 6 or 8 millimeter. I don't know if it says on here because I took the packaging off of it. Let's see. This is 8 millimeter rhinestone chain. And this is the kind that you can either push it together or you can pull it apart. This one, we're going to leave it apart. We're not going to push the rhinestones close together. So I've already cut it. I just measured around this heart and I've already cut it. So that is done. I did get a great comment from one of my subscribers, and I've seen it done, but I haven't done it, and it's crazy that I don't use this process. But really, best thing for you to do is you've cut this, you know, it's the right size for that heart. Now I'm probably going to cut one rhinestone out of this just because we're going to be using the inside dimension, and it is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So we probably will end up cutting one rhinestone off. And once I figure that out, you know, then I can kind of decide, okay, how long do I need it to be when I'm doing these hearts? And best thing for you to do is take a piece of string, measure it alongside your rhinestones if you've got the exact cut that you want, and cut your string off to wherever it is you are cutting those rhinestones. Tag it and say, you know, 4-inch heart, you know, and then you know for your 4-inch heart you're using this size of rhinestones, and it'll be the same for any kind of rhinestones you're putting on it. So you just want them to be the same length so that they fit around the heart. So okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put a layer of resin down in the bottom of this. That is my first step. Now I'm not going to cure it straight away because I'm going to put stuff on top of it, and I want that stuff to sit on that resin. I'm not going to do like a super thick layer of resin here on the bottom, but I do want it to cover the bottom. So again, this heart uses a bit of resin, you guys. So that's the only thing. When you're making these, you have to remember, especially if you're selling them, make sure you're pricing them right, because resin's not cheap. And the more resin you're using, the less resin you have left to use on other things. And if people know the cost of resin, they'll understand, because when you're buying UV resin, you're not getting a ton of resin compared to when you buy the two-part epoxy. But the two-part epoxy, to get a bottle, a package big enough to have enough to do a bunch of projects, you could spend into upwards of, you know, $125 for a big bottle, or it's actually two big bottles that you mix together. It may last you a little while, but it's very, very expensive. Resin is not a cheap thing to work with, so keep that in mind. That's why so many people, when they're doing UV resin projects, they are doing very small jewelry items and just, you know, little projects, nothing big. So I just popped the bubbles. Now I'm going to take my little stick and I'm going to go along the edges and see if there's any other bubbles or anything along the edges, and if the resin is pulling away. I don't want it to pull away from the edges. But this is not the last bit of resin we're going to be putting in here, so just remember that too. I don't want a bunch of bubbles, and I want that first layer to really what am I trying to say, have the shape down. I don't want it to be all lumpy and bumpy on the edges. So I want to make sure, because I can see it does pull away from these molds on the edges, because they are made so that the resin will come off of it easily, and because of that it pulls away from the edges as you're working with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start placing my pieces. Let's see. Just trying to get my tweezers, you guys. So let me grab these real quick. I forgot I have these pretty leaves too. We're not using those in this one. Okay. So we're going to just start laying this stuff down. Oh, wait a minute. First one I want down is this one. And I touched that resin, so this one I'm just going to hold on to. And I want that right up here in this corner. And I'm just going to sort of push it down into that resin. Just like that. Next, I want this piece. And I want to try and keep it sort of down as flat as I can get it. I think this is going to be so pretty, you guys. I really, really do. This piece, let's see, I just want to make sure that I do this the way I had planned. I mean, I can still move this around, so it's not like it's a big deal if I didn't get it in the exact spot. And then I think I'm gonna actually put this one up here. And then I've got this little flower here. And you know, I keep feeling like this little tail is getting in my way. Every time I lay this down, I feel like it's just not working. I may use it somewhere, but it's just not laying exactly the way I want it to. I felt like I wanted it there initially, but I just didn't feel like it was laying right. Move that up. Move that up a little bit. And I don't really want to try and keep this down below the top of this. I don't know if that's going to be possible, but we're going to try. And this piece I'm going to put right down in this corner. And with it by itself, I can kind of control a little bit more how it's laying on there. This one here, I feel like it's not going exactly the way I want it to. Because here's the thing, I'm going to move this over. I want this key to go right across here. And somehow I want that to go down far enough that it's just going to the top of that edge. Whoops. And I also don't want to cover it with the edge trim. So this, we're going to be putting a piece of this down at the bottom. But the good thing is, it's just going to go along the edge of the heart. So the key is still going to show right there. And I'm thinking maybe if I put that there we go. That's how I want the key to go. And then I've got these pretty acrylic flowers that my friend Robin my friend Kareth sent me these. And they're so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see them. You've probably seen them before. And I only have these two. But the color is like silvery and glittery and sparkly, but yet it doesn't have that cheesy sparkle to it. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but there are times when you glitter something and it just looks cheesy. It just doesn't look like, it doesn't look right. And I'm real fussy about glitters. So now I had this. There we go. I have this up there more before. I've been playing with these pieces for a little while this morning. And I want that one there. And then I want to add a couple of other things in there. And we've got this tag that says Grace. And originally I was thinking I was going to put that right there, but I want it to face like that. And then I wanted this beautiful one to go in here as well, but I did have a spot picked out where it was just sort of laying down in the resin. So I'm going to see if I can't make that happen, and there we go. Maybe we'll put that one like right there. And I was thinking that maybe I could take one of these little pearls on each one of these and put it right over the little hole. Like that. Okay, and then I did add these pearls to this key, and I think it looks really, really nice. So I thought maybe a couple of those pearls somewhere else in the piece would be nice. And then I took out some of my porcelain roses. And I want to sort of, originally I was thinking I'd put them sort of like right here, but I think they're going to sit too high that way. And here, if I put them up against the edge, it's going to sit down into the resin, and I think that's a better idea. Now, I did have a couple of white ones out here too that I was thinking might go pretty with this flower. And they're very small roses, so these I should be able to get in there and make them kind of sink a little bit. And then I want a pink one there too. One of my very teeny pink ones. Just like that. And I just think that little gathering of flowers just looks so pretty. This is actually an acrylic rosebud. And I was thinking about putting it right around here. And then this is a tiny, tiny pink rose. And then over here, I think maybe I'll pop one of these white ones over here. There, like that. And then I think I'll take one pearl there. And I don't want you there. I want you there. Okay. There. That other little pearl kind of went behind the scenes, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry too much about that. 2 and 3. Remember, groupings of 3 make things look really symmetrical. So, try to group your bits in 3s. And this one I'm using a bigger one and a couple of smaller ones. That one went kind of down into the resin, but that's okay. They don't have to sit right next to each other every single time. I mean, I can can't get that one out of there. There we go. All right, and then we'll just kind of strew the roses over a little bit. All right. I really want this other flower in here, but I'm getting the feeling it's not gonna go. the way I planned. Well, I've already got resin on the back side of it too. So that's kind of a bummer. I love this earring that I have sitting here. It's so beautiful. This one here. I got that in some Happy Mail a while back and haven't used it, and I was just going through some of my bags of stuff and I pulled it out and I was just like, oh my gosh, and I shined up the stone on top because it looked a little bit like it was scratched up, but it wasn't. It just had sticky stuff on the top of it. If I had both of these are the old style screw-on earrings that they used to wear back in the day. If I had both pieces of these, I would definitely not use them in a project and I would wear them on my ears. That's how beautiful I think this earring is. And I'm certain I only got one of them. I would be very upset if I used it and came across a baggie that had the other one in it. That would be so depressing. And these are some of my acrylic roses, like this one here. And I do love these. These are my favorite acrylic roses. And these are ones that came from Temu that Robin had sent me. And I love them. I love the color. They're more of a dusty rose. They're not super bright pink. And they really look like a rosebud. I mean, they are gorgeous. I'm going to put one here with these guys. Just in the center there. And yeah, I'm not loving this white one in there, so I think I'm going to pull that out. And we're going to put one of these rosebuds in there. And I'm kind of wanting to use these darker rosebuds because they kind of set everything off. They just like, your eye goes right to it. It just goes right to it. And then here, we kind of need another flower somewhere. Maybe it needs to be this. I was trying not to use that one up yet, but I think I just noticed I don't think that's what I want to put there either. Maybe we'll just put this small pink flower there. There. Okay. Okay. And then I think put a pearl there. I don't want to put too many pearls in here, but I do want to put a couple of them sort of around. Well, that is not where I wanted that one to go, but thankfully I have some more. I'm almost out of these particular pearls, but that's okay. So I have a few more here. Whoops, I almost lost that one. I want one there. I'm trying to turn this one over. I like the color of the other side better. There we go. Okay. And let's see, the big one we can put right there. And let's see, we'll put one, whoop, Well, I guess you're going to stay there because you keep falling right in that spot. So that must be where you want to go. And I have one more here, so let's see, where do we want this one to go? We're going to put you right there. Okay. This so far looks amazing, you guys. It looks amazing. I love the way it's coming out. I'm super excited. I think this is going to be one amazing looking ornament. Oopsies. I felt this Grace one sticking up because of that pearl. I think what I'm going to do is put it a little bit under the key. Grab that pearl back if I can. Put it back in the hole. There we go. And that way it's holding up the edge of that key so that the key is more flat. And it's sitting down lower. So, okay. I think this is gorgeous. I really feel like I have come up with a great arrangement of goodies in here. I think I'm going to put this rose right here. Try and push it down in there. There we go. There. And that just made it perfect. Okay, so you know what? I have one more rosebud. Should we just put that in there for good measure somewhere? Okay, you know what? We'll put it right next to that beauty. I'm going to run out of my porcelain roses again. I wish I could get some more of these little rosebuds. They came with these kind too, but the prettiest ones were the roses and the rosebuds. Those are my favorites. But I think those only come in like a mixed set. I'm going to try and spin this pearl around just a little bit. It's a little bit bright on that side. And I'm going to make it so that part of the less bright side is showing a little bit more. I'm getting it there. There we go. I think that'll be good. Okay, so that's it, you guys. That's what we're going to do. So right now, I am going to put this under my lamp. And I'm going to take out my silicone pad. I'm going to put this in my lamp. I'm going to put it on top of my, you know what? I think I do want to squeeze a little bit more resin in some of these places, just to make sure, like, things are touching, I guess. And so that everything sort of stays down and stays in place. I think that's pretty good. That should be good right there. And see, this white one with the white sequins and stuff is not showing up nearly as much as the silver flowers are. They are really shining bright. And I do love that. Okay. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I'm looking at the little flower arrangements on here, and I do see an area where I kind of feel like maybe we need a couple of flowers up in this edge over here. I don't know if I can get that to sink down the way I want it to. And I have one darker rose here. But I feel like it needs something on this side too. I don't think it's fair to have all of those pretty roses on the other side and kind of nothing up here in this edge right here. You know what? I do think what I could do, move that over, put that there, and move this down a little more into the resin and put that one there. There. I think now everything will sit below the top line. I do want my key down into the resin, and my beautiful sign needs to show. Grace needs to show. Okay, I think I've got it. Oh, I hate to pick these up because I'm always afraid they're going to move around. And hopefully I got that on 5 minutes. Okay, so I've got my lamp on. I've put it for 5 minutes, and I will be right back. Okay, so we got this out of the lamp here, and this is what it looks like so far. Isn't that gorgeous? Just so sparkly and beautiful. Oh my goodness. So we're going to take our resin. And this probably doesn't have enough in it, but that's okay. I'll pull some more out. And I'm just going to go around the whole thing. So far right now I've got a quiet house. I'm here all by myself, so I don't have to worry about any noise going on. No machines or lawnmowers or anything like that. The trash guys may come by to pick up the trash, but that's about it. So you can see I'm just kind of going around the whole thing here. I'm probably going to have to do one more layer. Oh, there's the mailman. So the mail is here. I don't think I have anything coming in special today, so I don't need to run and grab it real fast, but when I put this under the lamp, I will go see what I got in the mail. It doesn't sound like anything special because they didn't, usually when I get like a cool package, I can hear the mailman use his little scanner, and he scans it to show that it was delivered. And I can see that my tabletop is not exactly level. I think everything's going to that end a little bit more. So under my lamp, I want to pop something under there. I'll just pop this under there for now. Maybe two of them. And I think that will make it a little more level. Okay, so we've got our next layer in there. I'm going to just do like this a little bit. And that is my neighbor's dog. Her name is Ivy, and she is the most beautiful dog ever. She's a pit bull. But she doesn't like Holly, my puppy. And Holly, when she goes to the back fence that's between their yard and ours, cries, and she cries. She's just, and And Ivy sits at the fence and just growls and barks at her and basically tells her, I don't like you, get away from me. And my poor Holly, I swear you guys, she is just the sweetest, sweetest dog ever. She doesn't even bark when somebody comes to the door. Now, if she doesn't like who she sees when the door opens, then she might make some noises and give some faces. But for the most part, she doesn't bark at anybody. She loves everybody and everything. And it is the cutest thing ever. But not everybody loves her like she loves them. And it just makes me sad for her because she cries. She literally, when she thinks somebody doesn't like her, she cries. When I give her a new toy, the first thing she does is she cries in happiness that she's got a new toy. She's just, and she's 110 pounds, a very scary looking dog, but there is not a scary bone in her body. And we have a little, an older lady about my age that walks every day, and she walks, she doesn't use the cane, but she walks holding a cane. I think that's just for sort of protection. Very sweet lady, and for a while there, she would walk by and she'd be a little scared, and you know, oh my gosh, because we let Holly go out front with no leash. There's no need, but my problem with that is another dog coming up to her and hurting her. If we don't have a leash on her, we can't pull her away easily. So that bothers me. But I can't get Jeff to understand that and to put a leash on her. So I'm sort of, and he's the one that takes her out most of the time. So, and that's in the front yard. But anyway, this lady, she finally, Jeff tells her every day, it's okay. You can go right by her. She's just going to walk with you to the end of the yard. She won't even go over our grass line. She won't. She won't go off the curb. She won't go any farther than the grass line to the street. There could be a squirrel, a cat, it doesn't matter. She will not go off that edge. And so this lady finally realized, okay, she's okay. She says, can I pet her? And Jeff told her, yes, of course you can. Well, now this lady is Holly's little best friend, and she waits for her every day at the same time to see if she's coming walking down the street. And as soon as she sees her, she starts crying. Dad, let me out. I have to see my friend. I need to say hi. She needs to pet me. So cute, so cute, so cute. I just love her to death. I love her. So anyway, that's my story. I'm going to go ahead and let this bake for a minute, and I will be right back. I'm going to get my mail. Okay, so I got that layer done, but you can see how it's lumpy on top? I haven't reached the top of the mold yet. So we've got to go again and put another layer, and let's see. I think... Hold on just a minute, you guys. Okay, I went ahead and filled up my 3 little bottles of this so that I'd have them ready to go when I need them. And this one I do need filled anyway, so let's go ahead and let's get this, hopefully, if not all the way to the top, at least close to being done, at least this part of it. Now this mold tends to, of course, it tends to curl a little bit, so there's a space in the middle where most of the excess resin, it's not really excess, but the extra resin I'm squeezing in should run towards the middle. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it full. I'm not going to move it. I'm going to put my my top lamp over the top of it and let it cure, because maybe I can get a little bit of a dome going on here and it will be completely covered. There's only one spot right here that I see I may have trouble getting all the way covered, right there. And then there's this one pearl that wants to pop out right there. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover that or not. I'd like for this to be my last layer of resin. Okay, I covered up the pearl, I think. It looks like it's covered, and it looks like this is like so close. It is so close. Okay, I think maybe I have it, and I don't think it's going over the edge, so we're going to make sure we have enough resin in here to try and make this the last layer. And it feels like I'm going to use this lamp to check my edges and stuff. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty well covered. I do have to torch it. Because I do see bubbles. And when you pour that much resin, of course you're going to get bubbles. It's still not as many bubbles as I get with the other resins. Okay, I feel like I got it. All right, you guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put just going to take my top lamp off, and I'm going to get this top nice and cured. And then when this is done, then I'll put it in and I'll do both sides. So, but for now, I want to get from the top down going. So we're going to let this go for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to put it in the lamp again and go for another 5 minutes top and bottom. Okay, so I made a little bit of a mistake. I went ahead while you guys weren't looking, and I glued on these rhinestones. Now you guys know how I do those, and you watched me in my last video, my last heart video like this, glue on the rhinestones. So I'm gonna say not a complete failure, because you can go back and watch that video and see how I put the rhinestones on. I think most of you probably know how to do it, but if you need a little bit of guidance, you can go back to that video and watch the section where I added the rhinestones onto that one. This is where we're at now. We're pretty well all resined over the top. We're going to add this and this on, and here's what the other thing that I did. I added this rose and this dangle. I just glued these on with B7000. So that's all I did. Actually, I resined this piece on, and I B7000 that one on. So that's all I did. And I'm sorry, you guys, I know I think I do that in just about every video. I do one part where I start to go back to work and realize I hadn't turned on my camera yet. So that's just a corner piece with this resined on and this glued on. So this is going to go at the bottom, right there. It's getting stuck. Okay, so it's going to go right there, and I am going to resin this on. So I want to get it in place just like that. That's where I want it. And we're going to take some resin, and I'm going to leave it right on this table. I'm not going to pick it up. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to leave it right on this table. I'm going to go through the little, yeah, I moved it, through the little holes right here that are in this corner piece, so that the resin is touching both the corner piece and the heart. And we're going to turn that on. We're going to let that go for just a minute here. And then we will get this one on. I've already, this one already has the holes at the top made bigger. And the way that I do that is I just use my round pliers that I use to make my jump rings and or my my eye pins, and I stick this in that hole, and these actually extend real easily. Just do a few turns and you've got a bigger, rounder hole to put your ball chain in. Now we're not going to put the ball chain on this today, you guys, because I did buy some bronze ball chain, but I didn't get it in yet. So as far as that goes, I don't have that today, but we will put this on, and we're going to put that on the back side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this on there, and actually part of me wants to just put it on the rhinestones. I think that's what I'm going to do. As long as I've got it in the middle, I think that's where we're going to go with this. I'm going to put it on the rhinestones. I'm going to add my resin. I don't want to wait too long. I want to get this under the light like ASAP. There we go. And get that started curing so that it doesn't get through to the other side and make a mess. So let me do this for just a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, just for now, I'm going to go ahead. I've got this resined on here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this coffee colored, bronzy colored ribbon, and this is some seam binding. I'm going to pop that through the holes, if I can get it to go. I need to, here, we'll use this. This will pop it right through there. And I'm going to go through this side with this side. And pop that through. And then what I want to do is I want to take this and actually I think I'm going to pop it underneath there. And I'm going to put it through this. So we're just kind of knotting it around this. I don't know what this is going to look like, you guys, so this may be not the best way to do this, but I'm feeling like this is what I want to do. I want that knot in the front of this, but I've got to get this to come through all the way. And then pull it through. And let's pull it through some more. And like that. And we've got this cool little knot in the front. Still didn't get it pulled through there tight enough. There we go. There. You can see actually that ribbon looks very nice on this, and since it's an ornament, I may just leave that on there. And then we're going to take the top piece. I mean, for ornaments, the ribbon's probably better anyway, but I like the ball chain because it's very sturdy, and although this ribbon is quite sturdy enough, it's fine. You don't need anything stronger than this. I just got in the habit of using ball chain for everything, and I guess I just like it. Okay, so let me get this, pull that to the other side there. There we go. And I'm going to pull this side through just a little bit tighter. There we go. And look at that knot, you guys. It's really quite a cool knot. Okay, so we've got that on there. We've got our beautiful dangle on the bottom. And then I have this rose. I was thinking I was going to put it there, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't even think there's really a spot. I could have used this here, and it probably would have been a great place for it, but we've already got this one on there, and it looks beautiful. And I think this one is done, you guys. I'm not going to put a bunch of flowers and things to cover any of this up. We're going to leave it just the way it is. And let's see. Let's see if this will be enough. I think that's enough. There we go. Isn't it gorgeous? And then I will get some pictures and do a short video clip of it hanging. And you guys can really see, look at how gorgeous that is. Everything got covered. Everything looks beautiful. It's quite interesting. It's a very, very interesting ornament piece. So this would be a nice little heirloom piece for someone if you wanted to buy something special for someone. This will go into my Etsy shop, and it will be available. And I think we're going to go ahead and we are going to leave the ribbon on as the hanger, because it looks perfect, and the ball chain is not going to look nearly as pretty as that ribbon does. So, and it matches everything perfectly with the bronze bits that are in here, the corners and the key. And so I think this looks awesome with the ribbon. So we're going to leave it that way. And that is it, you guys. I have a couple more that I'm going to work on. And I just figured out what I wanted to do with them while I was curing this one. And I've got these two pieces. And I poured these yesterday. And these are two very, very thin pieces that I made maybe 1/8 of an inch thin. And they have a little bit of a curve to them. They kind of curve that way a little bit. Both of them do. And I think what I'm going to do, I was playing around. I was kind of playing with this butterfly first. And I thought, well, maybe I'll do one with that butterfly on it. That looks really, really pretty. And not do a ton of crazy stuff on it. The butterfly and maybe some edging. And then I started playing, because you guys know I've been trying to figure out what to do with these big pieces that I made. And this one says she believed she could, so she did. I love that. I love this piece. And this would be gorgeous with some rhinestones around the edge, and just that. It would be an amazingly gorgeous ornament. And then I'm also thinking with this one, I've got my other piece. I've got a couple of ways I could go with this. This one's got a pin on it. I could go with this piece, and then I'd have these two beautiful rhinestone pieces. Or I could go with something like this cameo right in the center there with some border. I could go with either lace, or I could go with rhinestones, whatever, and do something like that. So I'm going to be playing around with these two. Since they're already made, all I have to do is embellish them. So, and I think they will be really, really, really pretty. This is pretty. This would be a pretty centerpiece on one with maybe some florals around it or something. Something like that would be pretty. But yeah, I've got these two that I'm going to be working with and doing something with. I don't know that I'll do a video. I may or may not. But they will be, they will get done, and they will go in my Etsy shop. I've got this butterfly too that I was looking at. That is gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Just that butterfly. And these would be pretty if I could figure out how. I was trying to figure out, the reason I made these initially was to try and put them together. Because they cup the way they do, I could put stuff in the middle and turn it into sort of a shaker kind of an ornament. And that would be awesome if I could do that. I can get it to stick together. I would be able to resin it together all the way up to about here on both sides. But then you can see I've got this big opening at the top. And I'm not real sure how, I mean, I could press this and it'll bend enough for me to press it together, but I don't know how I would get it to stay together, you know, all the way around without pulling apart. I'm afraid it would pull apart and I'd ruin it. The other thing I was thinking about is I got out some of my little turtles and some turquoise and some little rocks and things that my friend Celeste sent me, or Celeste, not Celeste, Cecilia sent me, and I've got some abalone and what else did she send me? Oh, she sent me so much stuff, you guys, a bunch of beads and things. But these were the things that I pulled out because I loved the little turtles, and I thought I could make like a little ocean scene. I also put together some of my dirt and some Epsom salts to try and make a light colored sand to put like down at the bottom, and then I could color my resin and, you know, do the blues and everything. So I was thinking about trying that. We'll have to wait and see, you guys. It depends on what hits me at the time I get around to it. And I can't find my dirt. I don't know what I do with my dirt. Oh, here it is. So this is just some dirt from my backyard and then some Epsom salts, but it looks like sand. So I thought I would use that to create sand at the bottom. And then we've got these little wooden bits that are in our, not in our driveway, but where Jeff parks his truck. He's got a couple of pieces of sidewalk or cement, and then he's got these sprinkled around in between. And those, I thought, well, I could make like some little rocky ledges or something, or, you know, so I did. I pulled some of those out, and yeah, I got a lot of stuff that I'm looking at trying to do. One of the next things that I want to do, though, is this box. You guys are going to love this. This, I got a gift in this box, and that's how it opens. It's got the little, look how it opens, and I painted it like that. So I painted it closed, and when you open it, you see that triangle. Well, it's also got this clear piece at the top, and it had a little sunflower in the middle. But I decided I wanted to put something else in the center, so I want to get it embellished on the outside. And then I was thinking, what if I was to put something like this in the center? This is one of my embellishments that I made. And so that would be the centerpiece of the box. And then it's got this little drawer where you can put your earrings or your rings and stuff. Just a tiny little jewelry box. That's all it is. But how fun is that? It's beautiful, and what a great way if somebody wanted to use it as a gift box to give a gift to somebody. And then this will be embellished on the outside. I'm going to use some of my pretty floral decals, the ones that I just bought, these ones, because there's so many beautiful ones in here. I thought that I would use these around the box. You know, look at it. I've got beautiful, beautiful decals. So I thought maybe I could take some of these and put them around on the box, and then what I thought I could do is I could put something, let's see, here's my other one. I'm not going to use this, but just as an example, I could take something that can go kind of across the middle and only be attached on one side, and you could still open this like that, even with that item that's glued to the other side. So something up here, maybe a little bird, or I kind of don't want to use one of my birds because I'm afraid those, I don't know how well those would last. So I don't know what I would use, but there's, you know, I've got different things that I could take and make another kind of a, you know, a embellishment sort of like this, and just, you know, something like the pink one that's on the inside, do something like that on the outside. And this is going to be a gorgeous box. So I hope you guys will stick around and wait for that to get done. I'm saving this one because I do have my birds that I got. I'm going to show you my fairies too, you guys. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. So these are the birds that I got, and they're quite big. They're a lot bigger than I expected them to be. But like this one, look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So somewhere on there could be, you know, on a box, could be this with those flowers. Oh my word, you guys. It looks amazing. So, and then I've got, what do you call them? Cardinals. Look at that bluebird. Look at that. Oh my goodness, they are just the most beautiful images. I've got several cardinals. I know I'm going to send one of those to my friend Kim because she's just in love with cardinals. So I will be sending at least one of them to her so that she has it to do something with. But wait until you guys see this. Oh my gosh, and I bought these thinking they were smaller too, but they're not. But oh my word, you guys, they are so beautiful. So I'm going to find a box. I'm sorry, I've got a bunch of stuff around me from working. I've just got everything sitting here. Look at that. Look at that fairy. Oh my gosh. And then it came with these butterflies and flowers. Now, those are not too big to use on anything. And then we have her. Look at her, how beautiful she is. Sorry, I gotta flip it. Okay. Isn't she gorgeous? And then those flowers, which are absolutely stunning, you guys. These flowers are beautiful. And then we've got her. Look at that. She's a little bit shorter this way, so she'll be a little easier to find something to fit on. And then look at all of those flowers and the butterfly. Oh my gosh. Now, this floral bit would be very pretty on this box. And I wish my little fairy was small enough to use, but there is no way I'm cutting anything off of this to make it fit. But this is my favorite one. This little girl right here. Look at that. Is that the most precious thing ever? Oh my gosh. Just precious. So I cannot wait to use these, you guys. I am super excited. I've actually got some boxes here that I'm waiting to work on. I've got two round ones. So I've got this one, which definitely would fit either one of the smaller fairies. Look at that. That fits. And this one should fit too. Yeah, this one will fit on this one as well. Look at that. Oh my word. That would be so pretty on this round tin. So I've got this, but look at what else I have. Haha. I have a bigger round tin. And I've had this one sitting around for quite a long time, you guys, but look. I have to get this one off. She fits. Oh my gosh, she fits. I mean, she just fits, but she fits. So I may be doing this one in this beautiful thing. Either that, or I don't want to just use her just to use her. I have something else that I want to do, and I need to go out and I need to finish painting it. It's a trunk, and I've shown it to you guys before, but I started putting some decals on it, and I used decals that just were not made for that trunk, and they looked out of place and wrong, and I wasted a bunch of decals on it is what I did. I was so mad at myself because I don't like to waste my beautiful decals, but I did, and so now I have to repaint it so that I can start from scratch. And I really want to do that on camera, but it's a large trunk, you guys, and I can't just sit it right here and work on it. I have to find a place where I can go and stand up and work on it and have my camera back further, and so that I can get the whole trunk in view. So yeah, so I've got that. So anyway, you guys, this is our piece for today. Again, I will get some pictures, and I will do a video clip with my phone so you guys can see it. And that's it, you guys. You guys have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. God bless you all. Take care. Be safe. Be well. And I will see you in the next video. And you're all in my prayers. Bye-bye. God bless.